and reach for the stars, wild ones. It's Bernadette, and I'm here with your Scorpio tarot reading for March 2021. And that's about all the perkiness I can muster. Why? Because I'm a Scorpio, and I didn't like our horoscope. I don't like our horoscope for this month. It's so necessary, and kookily enough, everything that every Scorpio I know is going through, and I was like, okay, all right, planets, okay, energy, okay, universe, we're going to need to have the come to Jesus talk. They didn't care. They didn't care. They said it is what it is anyway. Deal with it. So here we go. Okay. Well, you know what? Maybe I should have organized like a like an online happy hour for all the Scorpios in the wild pack, because you might want to grab something that will comfort you. So it's not scary. It's just really deep, and it causes like super deep introspection. And ain't nobody got time for that. So here we go. All right. So, you know, listen, Scorpio mantra, our motto is I desire. Oh, yippee skippy. Because this month, Scorpios, your ally is someone who appreciates your love of the deep, dark recesses, and that's good. So you might want to hook up with a fellow intuitive, fellow psychic, fellow tarot flipper, you know, somebody, spiritual person, healing person, or maybe even just another couple Scorpios, because like you, they've got a really strong otherworldly radar, and that helps keep in tune with what's going on many different levels, which can be exhausting. And it can be, you know, we're human too, and we're not really so much prone to fear, but sometimes it can be like humana, 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 right? So our card, your tarot card for this this reading is Bat, which in my deck is the archetypal hanged man in the regular Rider-Waite tarot. And that's what's working with us through the month. Now, when I first drew that card, or when the animal ally sent the card, I'm like, what does a hangman and a bat have to do with anything? But, you know, they get a bad rap, right? So the hanged man is not an archetype of violence or of punishment, but it represents the power that comes from being still, going on those deep dives, taking that introspection, and being willing and able to open up to taking on different viewpoints. And bats, you know, my gosh, they see in the dark, y'all. Okay, they send their spidey senses out. When it pings danger, danger, they go a different direction. And so they navigate the nighttime, the darkness. And darkness doesn't always have to be negative. It doesn't have to be negative at all. I mean, listen, when we do these really like expansive meditations, I gotta believe you guys have had this experience, but one time I did this. I didn't know this person. I was like, ooh, I'll try this guided meditation. And this gal led us up and out of our house and up into the sky and up into the stars. And I just, you know, my consciousness, because I have never grown up, just followed along with her. And when she said, open your psychic eye, I fell off the couch. No joke. Slammed into the coffee table, woke all the other, well, there are only 4 other people, but woke the 4 other people. They weren't asleep, but you know, took them right out of their meditation, because it went clash, bang, crash. Ow! I lost my balance. I was so out of sorts, having my consciousness out there in the universe, I literally fell off the dang couch. Learned a lesson, am in much better control of it now. Who knew that could happen, right? Okay, but here's where I'm going with this. Because you are being called to go to those bigger recesses, deeper recesses, darker recesses, and here's why. Both of these archetypes, both Bat, which is known for their ability to perceive their surroundings during their keen sense of hearing and using the sonar, and the Hangman, which is suspended upside down, but from his unusual position, can see things most other people can't see because he sees it at a different angle. Now, both of these poor old boys have been scapegoated, well, and girls too, you know, with female bats, but that when Bat and Hangman energy is around, you might feel susceptible to being thrown under the bus, but it can be a really important time to step back and examine how much of the scapegoating is warranted and how much of it has been self-martyring. And what that means is, let's say that you've been putting yourself on the front lines over and over and over again to feel taken advantage of. Bat and Hanged Man, you know, the Hangman tarot card, and Bat is a spirit totem and power animal, can help you examine the pattern and the subconscious drives that may lead you to follow this pattern. I've had this pattern. My gosh, when people used to say to me, why do you always have to play the hero? Why do you insert yourself? Why do you take on other people's problems? Why do you fix things? Why are you so hell-bent on fixing things for other people? I don't know. Maybe because Pluto and Mars are part of my, as strong in this one, and I just have always felt like it's my job. I'm here to save the day. I just have always felt like, I didn't know I felt like it. It just always felt like a natural thing for me to do, until I found out that a lot of times it's not doing that other person any good, and it dang for Skippy sure ain't doing me any good, right? So you might have that need to play the hero, save the day. You might have a thing where, well, if I make things okay for people, they'll love me and they'll want to stay with me, because Scorpios at their deepest, darkest recesses have a fear of abandonment, every dang one of us, because our goal in this life truly is to give and receive the purest, most unconditional love from everything and everybody. And when we don't feel like we're getting that love back, because in our little pumpkin heads, in our little Scorpio minds, we think we're giving unconditional love. That may or may not be true. It's never been 100% true with me. I've always been able to look at things after the fact and go, oh, yeah, that's not the definition of unconditional. But these could be going on for many reasons. But these things can be going on for many reasons, but subtle is best now. And if others truly are misunderstanding your reputation, or what you've offered to do, or what you're in the middle of doing, and it seems like they're not, grateful. Number one, please don't do anything for anybody if you expect them to be grateful. If that's a need of yours, it's probably not a good thing for you to do for them. Maybe check into doing it for yourself just because that's what you want to do. And it may be a really important time to hang out in the background, almost of your own life, and carefully observe and use all of your senses to gather the information. And this is including intuition and psychic senses. So you've got, like we talked about just a minute ago, we've got two planetary rulers, Pluto and Mars. And these are really activated by transits this month, and you're going to feel the burn even though the activity is not directly taking place in your sign. Also, as your sign is a fixed sign, like Taurus, Leo, and Aquarius, the intensity of the major activity in Aquarius will really have a ripple effect on the Scorpio zodiac sign as well. So on the first, our two planetary rulers are in a fortunate trine to each other. Pluto and Mars in Capricorn and Taurus, respectively, form a really easy aspect associated with the flow of energy. So trines open up the floodgates and allow energy to flow between planets, and that makes it easier to access these transits, access the traits that these planets bring to the table. So usually considered fortunate in the case of an easy aspect between Pluto and the energetic Mars, these two can work together to unleash some serious dramatic events in your career and finances. And you may have to contend with powerful change to your career path, or a change that might involve loss or a need to release. Remember that when you release something, it's for your good. Even if you have a hard time ripping it out of your spirit, it's got to be for your good. So pay really close attention and make some really smart decisions about what you need to release so that you can move forward. Now, you might feel that impact in your wallet as this transit can bring fortunate opportunities for new growth, but will usually kick off the process by initiating a major loss or change. Or I see that as also, it could be like, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, let's say that you've got an investment you want to make and you're like, oh, I don't know if I want to spend that much. Ooh. Take a hard look at it, do your research, because you very well may want to just be like, bite the bullet and do it. Right? Okay, remember, I'm not a financial advisor. That's not what I do in any way, but astrologically speaking, give some thought to what you want to invest in and what you want to release. And that doesn't just mean money. That can mean people. It can mean yourself. It can mean career. It can mean all kinds of things. Now, I'm also, well, intuitively, so that's like from the charts, but intuitively what I'm also hearing is that it's like once you get to the other side of it, you're going to look back and go, God, why did I wait so long to do this? And you're going to be like, I don't know. And then you're going to start asking for help from the universe and the animal spirit guides to make it so you don't ever do that again. So by the third, Moon is in our sign of Scorpio, and that makes a challenging square to Jupiter and Mercury, both in Aquarius. how you think, how you communicate may be jolted by those unexpected dramatic changes and can be beneficial in the long run, but may bring out insecurities and emotional wounds in short run. Keep your focus on the overall target, and it's just going to be a small scale detour. And what's crazy is, in preparation for that, I have told a couple of the people that, are so gracious to help me in my company. I was like, listen, I just want to let you know, I can already feel myself slipping into like business mode. And I'm usually like, la, 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 because that's my personality. But when it comes to like pressure time in business, I'm like, the devil wears Prada. I'm kind of like that, but I'm not mean. But I'm just like, to the point, get it done. Why isn't it done? La, 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 la. And I was like, and they're like, what do you mean you're going to get to it in March? We've already seen it ramping up for like the last week. And I'm like, oh God, I'm so sorry. So I'm going to be try to be a little gentler with my words, and, and not think of things as directives so much as, hey, we need to get this done, so on and so forth. And you might find that, one of the folks that I work with is like, man, it's that strong in me the last week, and my children have been feeling the effect of it. So anyway, on the 6th, Mars enters Gemini, and you might feel, Scorpio, as if if pressure has been lifted to some extent, and, there's a rocky roller coaster ride that remains with the major planets still transitioning to Aquarius, but you're going to be more likely to embrace the prospects of radical change and surprises compared to your earlier feelings of pressure. And your creativity is a huge benefit now, as you can become more adaptable and flexible. So the insight others share can really help you change your own viewpoint if you're willing to let go of points that you've been holding on to way too tightly. Remember, Bat, as a spirit totem and power animal, is here to help your zodiac sign during this time, help you adapt and gain a different perspective of you, and even do it with your eyes closed. So March 8th through 9th, the moon passes by Pluto in Capricorn, and also comes into opposition for Mars later on the 9th. Now, it's not likely a catalyst for major life-changing events, but this transit can set off emotional reactions to losses or changes that you're in the midst of or have recently experienced. If you've suppressed your emotional reaction in order to go into survival mode and cope with changing circumstances, your emotions may start to seep in now. And the Scorpio emotions, woo, doggies. All right. So having said that, let me say this. The 12th through the 21st, a number of planets enter a stellium in Pisces, namely the Sun, the Moon, Mercury, and Venus, and that can pull your attention towards romantic matters. So watch those emotions with the romantic matters, right? Just watch it, because this is also a time for a potential surge in affection, intuition, emotional healing. And remember, Bat and the Hanged Man are to help you see the truth through your illusions, but also to help you take the time to reflect in order to process your fantasies and fears and go through this discernment. So just really, we're supposed to be some of the toughest signs in the zodiac, right? The Scorpio, the Scorpion, and we are, especially with the Pluto and the Mars behind us. But when it comes to love, nothing else guts us like that, and then we just turn into like jelly, mush. Like we don't even have the air in our sails to be one of those, waving plastic guys that are full of air that you see at the car dealerships. We don't even have the energy to do that. We just deflate. So be really, 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 really careful that you don't let your fears or your illusions about what you think is going to happen or go on, don't do it, especially in romance. Now, by the 20th, Mars and the lunar node are in conjunction in Gemini, and with the moon passing by briefly, this can be a time of restlessness and anxiety over what you perceive your mission and destiny is, and new insights can bring you closer to your purpose or reveal ways that you might have strayed from your path, because for many, many, many of you, you're on the absolute rightest path you could be, but maybe you've lost some steam, you're disillusioned, or maybe you're just plain old tired. Take a vacay. That's what margaritas and Mexican food are for. Do your thing, right? Or island food and a good, a good steel drum band. Jimmy Buffett. Come on, y'all, get with the program. Get with the water program. So I'm going to St. Augustine sometime in the next couple of weeks. So on the 20th through the 28th, Mars in Gemini squares Mercury in Pisces. And during this time, you might find it easier to get lost in those fantasies and illusions, your passions and your eagerness. Because remember, I desire. To act on your ideals and your desires can lead you to making poor judgment calls when it comes to sorting out fact from fantasy. again, do your research, cross your T's and dot your I's, right? Now, your hunches may be on the money, but for a number of things this month, don't only go with your instinct, because I know I do, and sometimes I'm told by the animal allies to check it out, and I'm always so glad I did. And other times I'm told by the animal allies, do it. And so since you're looking at things from a different perspective and through the eyes of a bat, right, which is sonar and hearing, be careful what you hear and be careful what you see. Do you see it with these eyes or do you see it with these eyes, right? Okay. Now, that said, through the 28th, the 28th through the end of the month, Mars is in Gemini, or Mars in Gemini is trine Saturn and Aquarius, and that can be a super fortunate time for breakthroughs, epiphanies, and shocking or even surprising things to happen. But you're going to find it easier to break down barriers and throw caution to the wind. I can't wait for the 28th. I got some caution I need thrown to the wind. So what may seem like a calamitous situation, yes, she said calamitous, at first can actually prove beneficial, and then using your savvy spidey skills and, spidey senses and intuition really will help you see the long range view of what's coming on the horizon, so you can easily read the social trends at this time. All right, Scorpios, I hope that your tarot reading for this March 2021 was insightful and helpful. I love you all, and as always, do good for animals and stay wild.